Hi everybody, this is Kefren, your favorite French Canadian. Today I'm going to show you how to boost your FPS in Wild Art. A lot of stuttering inside of this game, so we're going to look at the best optimization for Windows, and after that, the best parameter inside of the game.
So now the best setting for Windows for gaming. So first of all, we're going to search for game mode in the search bar. Make sure that game mode is activated for the past year. It's pretty good. You're getting a decent performance, and you're going to make sure that all your resources are focused on the game that you're playing. For the Xbox game bar, I still recommend to deactivate this one, causing stuttering, crashing in some games. So I'm not a huge fan of the Xbox game bar. And for the capture, make sure that the background recording is at off, and also the recorded audio is at off. Another thing that I recommend, it's the hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. Make sure that you're searching for graphics setting. You will need an NVIDIA card, 1000 series or more recent. It will really help with bottlenecks. So if you have a 1050, 1050 Ti, 1060, even the 2060, you can expect a nice 2 to 5% boost. And also you can expect less stuttering when you're using that. So I really recommend to use that. Another thing that is really important, it's your driver. Make sure that you have the latest driver from AMD, NVIDIA, even Intel if you have an iGPU on your processor. So for an example here with AMD, you just click check for update and it's gonna show you if you have the latest one. You can do the same thing with NVIDIA. Another thing that I can recommend with the NVIDIA and AMD, they have an image scaling for the past a couple of months. From AMD, it's called Super Resolution, and for NVIDIA, it's NIS. I have dedicated video who's gonna show you how to use that and how to configure it. But to explain you quickly what it's about, so you need to enable this. So for example, I'm playing in 2K because my monitor is in 2K. I'm going inside of my game. I lower the resolution at 1080p, and the software will scale it back at 2K. And with this process, I can save 15-20% in my FPS. Also, you can do it if you have a 4K monitor and you want to do 1080p or 2K. You can expect a nice boost. The image quality will not be the same if you compare with native, but in some game it's working very well, and it's very tough to see the difference. So I recommend to use it if you're struggling with your FPS. So if you have an NVIDIA card, just go on your NVIDIA setting, go to Control Panel, open it, go to Manage 3D Setting, and just use pretty much the setting that I'm currently using. Honestly, they're pretty much default. So the first one that you need to change is your low latency mode. If you have this technology, make sure that it's at on. The other one is if you want to lock your FPS. For an example, you have a 170 Hz monitor and you want to stay in your G-Sync range, you just put your FPS here at something like 167, something like that. You want to be under 170 Hz to always stay in your G-Sync range. So if you want to do that, it will do that for all your game. It's a global setting over there. So I'm gonna unlock it, and this is pretty much it. If you have access to the change ECC state, I recommend to uncheck it. This will slow your VRAM, so you don't want to use that. For change resolution, make sure that you're playing native. So if you have a 2K monitor, go with 2K. If you have a 1080p monitor, go with 1080p. And super important, look at your refresh rate. A lot of people are missing this step. They buy a new screen and by default it's at 60. So use the maximum refresh rate that is available on your monitor. The last parameter will be your G-Sync. So I recommend, if you want to use G-Sync, I recommend to, first of all, you need to enable it, and I recommend to use the enable for window and full screen. So if you're playing a game like in borderless mode, it will be applied. Also, you can select just one display screen depending on whatever. If your second screen is not compatible with G-Sync, you will just push it to one monitor. I'm not using it. I have a 4090 for my GPU, so I just want to unlock my FPS. So in majority of the game, I'm getting 250 FPS, and my monitor refresh rate is at 170 Hz. So I just want to lower my input lag, so that's why I just unlock everything, but it really depends on your situation. So this is pretty much it for NVIDIA. Another thing that I recommend, it's your energy profile. So write energy in your search bar, go to power option. Make sure that you're running something like balance or high performance. On a desktop computer, it should not be an issue, but if you're playing on a laptop, really make sure that you're using that or a special profile for performance from your brand like Asus, Dell, or whatever. The thing is, sometimes when you plug your PC in the wall, unplug, using it with the battery, sometimes it stay at power saver and you don't want to use that when you're playing a game. So super important to be plugged in and also to use a proper performance profile. Another thing that I can recommend, it's the Intelligent Standby List Cleaner. This is a software made by the guy from DDU. It's pretty amazing, honestly. It will help if you don't have a lot of RAM in your PC. So if you have 4 gig of RAM, 8 gig, 12 gig, after that, you should be fine. Windows is doing the job properly. So it will free memory and it's gonna make sure that it optimizes your standby list. So what I recommend normally, it's look at your total memory here. In my case, it's 32. Just divide it by 2. So for me, it's 16. Just press start and it will run automatically. And you just lower the software like that. And you're going to make sure it's optimized. So it's a really good software. And also it helps a little bit with stuttering. So I really recommend to use that. One last thing is I have dedicated video on my channel about overclocking CPU, overclocking GPU, depending on your brand and stuff. And it's pretty good because there are basic overclocking guide. I don't touch voltage, so it's pretty safe. You can expect sometimes 2%, 10% boost in your FPS depending on your thermal, depending on your component. But it's something that you need to look at too if you want to optimize your PC for the best performance. So now let's go inside of the game.
So now inside of the game, so first of all, go to graphics settings and resolution. Make sure that you're playing native. So if you have a 2K monitor, go with 2K. If you have a 1080p monitor, go with 1080p. For the upscaling part, this one is a bit weird. It's like a binary upscaling and it's pretty bad. Don't use it. Yes, you will gain a couple of FPS, but honestly, your image will look fuzzy and very blurry. So go with disable. It's really a shame that they didn't implement any DLSS for now, FSR technology like this. So my recommendation right now is just disable and like lower your graphic settings. For window mode, I recommend to go with full screen. A lot of stuttering in this game and borderless doesn't help, so just go with full screen. After that, we will go to the VSync. I just disable and unlimit my FPS to have the lowest input lag. But honestly, it's not an esport game, so if you don't like T-Ring, just like enable your VSync. And also if you have technology like G-Sync or FreeSync, just use that. After that, for texture, if you have 4 gig and more of VRAM, you can definitely run high and texture filtering at high. If you have 3 gig of VRAM, just go with medium, and less than 3 gig, go with low. For the model quality, you can easily run medium, not a huge impact, like lowest to low like 1%, low to medium 2%, and medium to high 4% difference in your FPS. So my recommendation is go with medium for model quality. Particle effect, this one is pretty intense if you have like a bad CPU. So if you don't have a great CPU, just go with low. You will see big drops in this game, so definitely go with low. If you have like a decent CPU, 4-core, 8-thread, you can definitely run medium. Procedural density, this one I recommend to go with low if you have one of the best boosts. If I compare low to medium, you can expect 3% FPS and another 4% at high. If you want just a good balance between FPS and image visual, go with medium. Shadow is pretty much the one that will provide you the most of your FPS. So if I compare low to high, you can expect a nice 12% boost in your FPS. So this one I recommend to go with low. Start with shadow at low. If you're just missing a couple of FPS to have your like 60 or 120, start with shadow, do some testing, and after that you can definitely move other stuff. Reflection, it's causing a lot of like crazy drop in my FPS right now, so that's why I'm going with low. So reflection on like water, metal, and stuff like that. So this one I'm running at low. Global illumination, I go with medium. The game looks very flat at low. Medium is not like a huge impact, 2% difference in your FPS. So this is my recommendation for this one. Cloud, go with low. Not a huge impact, first of all, on the visual. It's not that bad. And you can expect a 8% boost in your FPS. Anti-aliasing, you don't have a lot of choice. TAA too blurry for me, and also you're losing too much FPS. FXAA is a good compromise if you want an anti-aliasing, and if you don't really care, just go with none. The game looks less blurry, and you will have for sure aliasing in your game, but it's question of preference between none or FXAA. Motion blur, I recommend to go disable to have better visibility. Ambient occlusion, yes, you can gain like 4% in your FPS, but honestly, the game looks flat if you disable it, so I don't recommend to do that. And depth of field, I recommend to go with disable. Again, better visibility inside of the game. So this is pretty much it, guys. If you have any question about this game, just comment in the YouTube section, post me your rig, CPU, GPU, and RAM. I will try to help you the best that I can. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Peace.